Arsenal are 6 points clear at the top of the table. But despite that, the media noise around Arsenal is just getting louder and louder in this title race. Doubts over Saka, doubts over Odegaard, huge away trip coming up against Brentford. How are we going to manage this? There's plenty to talk about in today's episode. This is the Real Arsenal Deal podcast. Welcome back to the Real Arsenal Deal podcast. Rav here, as always, your host. How is everyone today? Wherever you are in the world, I hope you are well. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is an impromptu episode. I'm recording this on a Wednesday afternoon. I had a bit of time up my sleeve today, and surprisingly, it's been 5 days since Arsenal's last match. Well, what I mean is it's a 5-day break in between games, which I cannot recall the last time that's happened. It just seems unrelenting. It seems like a frenetic schedule. Every 3 days, Arsenal have been playing since, I think from December onwards. But here we are with a welcome respite, a couple of days extra up our sleeve as we prepare for that away match against Brentford. And geez, look, I just feel this game is huge. All of a sudden, just for a number of reasons, I'll get into them in a moment. But this game, it just seems really big for me. All of a sudden, look, I know every match is big. Every Premier League match is big as we're heading into the final third of what we all hope will be a championship winning season for Arsenal. However, just with the circumstances surrounding this match, a few other things I want to touch on in the lead up. But look, I just wanted to hop on and just record and just to see if this is of any value to anyone. Again, it's just my thoughts on how we've placed, how we're poised. I've got to cover a few topics now. I'll pop it on screen, as you can see if you're watching on YouTube. Don't worry for audio listeners. I'll explain my rundown of this. But there's a few things happening in and around Arsenal, just in addition to that match away at Brentford. So I'm going to talk about where Arsenal are currently placed, a 6-point lead, touch on some injury news. I'm going to talk a bit about the Brentford match, a bit of a preview. I'll have a crack at a predicted 11, which I'm sure I'm going to get wrong again. And I also want to talk about, I feel this is quite relevant at the moment. Once again, the topic of noise, distractions, the spotlight on Arsenal. I feel it's happening again, and I'm just going to put my context forward. So look, let's just get straight into it. One of the compelling reasons to record again was, what a mad match it was a couple of days ago, Manchester City away at Liverpool. And I know full well that this is an Arsenal-related podcast, and I'm not like a daily content creator, and there's plenty of other people who have already well and truly covered that match and the aftermath and the circumstances and just, I guess, the perspective from an Arsenal point of view as well. So I'm not trying to go over anything anyone else has said. I'll just put forward my comments on it. Watching that match, I did take some time to watch it. I just, with time commitments and other responsibilities, I hardly watch any other sort of football outside of Arsenal. But every now and then you get a really eventful game like this. And of course, there was some skin in the game for Arsenal. I mean, it would have been great if Liverpool could have won the match. That would have been perfect, or at least held City to a draw. But of the three scenarios, City winning there was probably the least preferable, so to speak. But having said all of that, from an Arsenal point of view, it's business as usual. We are 6 points ahead. We've got that buffer. We just got to keep focusing. We've got to get our job done, just like we've been doing lately, and keep that momentum going. But for the match itself, it was such an eventful game that I found myself reflecting on 12 months ago, that how many games like this Arsenal seem to be involved in. What I mean by that is just really big moments, controversial moments, things that were being picked apart in the aftermath. Every interview or pundit or post-match reaction, you see that they're debating, was it a free kick? Was it a red card? Was it a penalty? Missed chances? Just all sorts of mayhem in that sort of match. And it's really draining. If you're familiar with my channel, you probably would recall me referencing that last year as well. It was just really draining just to be constantly having to reflect and talk about big decisions such as, I mean, we all know what I'm referring to, right? But I don't need to get into it again, but just all the letter of the law stuff and the officiating decisions, and then you have all the ex-referees coming on these shows and being clipped up, and they're being asked the hard questions, and it's just really, really exhausting. I'm actually just really glad, really relieved that Arsenal are not involved in matches like this, that we are just largely, up until this point, just taking care of business. We're just going about things in a professional manner, a mature manner. We are trying to stay under the radar of these sorts of things, especially when it comes to disciplinary issues, red cards, and all those really controversial moments. I mean, just last year just seemed to be littered by it. It's just. Even when you think you're out of it, then a match would crop up, and then they pull out a penalty against Brighton because Saliba clashed heads with João Pedro, and just all that sort of stuff. It's such a relief. That's what I'm trying to say, that Arsenal are not involved in matches like this anymore. So the match itself, of course, was just absolutely wild. I mean, it was an unbelievable free kick from Szoboszlai. I mean, full credit to him. And I saw in the aftermath the headlines recirculating about Arsenal chased him a couple of seasons ago under Edu's watch. And look, without getting into the whole I tried to sign him style thing, I think long-term Arsenal fans know what I mean about that. It was during the banter years, whenever someone would do something spectacular like that, we'd see the Wenger quotes that he tried to sign them. But look, it is what it is, right? We tried at the time. We didn't quite have the resources we do now. We went a different direction. And what can you do? We were on the end of that sort of free kick at Anfield just a few months ago. And he did it again. And look, it's just full credit. It's just a spectacular goal that probably in the aftermath won't quite get the praise that it deserves because of how the match had it. And if that was Arsenal, for example, again, with just putting my Arsenal lens on this kind of match, if Arsenal botch it from there, if we collapsed, imploded like Liverpool did in the closing, 10, 12 minutes, from going ahead to then equalising, giving away a crazy penalty like that. I'm not sure what Alisson was thinking. There's a goalkeeper of his caliber. I don't know what was going on there. And then to lose the game in that manner, all those missed chances. I mean, we know what will be said about Arsenal. We absolutely do. Everyone will be sort of, piling on with Arsenal. You hear all the usual words will come out: bottling this, choking that, mentality. And it's just so great to not be feeding that narrative at the moment. And conversely, at the same time, look, I've got to say this as well. How many times have Arsenal fans been checked about celebrating too hard? And look, I say this full well knowing that I'm not a match-going fan. I'm not going to try and pretend to be something that I'm not. I'm just a random with a microphone all the way here in Australia, right? Just watching from a distance and giving my 2 cents forward. But how many times have Arsenal been told to basically pull our heads in, wind our necks in about the way Arsenal fans and players celebrate after victories and post-match, and the way City celebrated this? If Arsenal did that, we'd be sort of laughed at or mocked. Look at them, it's like they've just won the title, and it was such an eventful game. I watched that yesterday actually, and I knew I had some thoughts about it. I wanted to just come on and talk about it. Just put because it just seems like putting my opinion forward that almost Arsenal can't really do anything right if we dominate the 1%, such as set pieces, set plays, and whatnot. We call it set piece FC, and that's all we've got. We celebrate big wins, and all of a sudden it's look at them, that we get mocked because it's like they won the title. What have we actually done? And I don't really know what else to say about that really, other than just to sort of shrug it off, ignore the noise. You have to sort of laugh about it sometimes, and just Arsenal just keep looking forward. Just focus on the next task and do it well. The next game, we are conducting ourselves in a very professional manner, which is very refreshing. And we've just got this unified approach. It seems almost every player you talk to from that they're all just sort of repeating the same messaging, and you can just see how bought in they are from Arteta down, from the ownership down. They all say the same things. Even a player like Martinelli, who has seen his minutes really impacted of late, given the amount of investment, the amount of signings we signed last season, and his role is directly the firing line with that. But I listen to the way he talks. I look at the way he conducts himself on the pitch. He's absolutely on the on the boat, just to use Mikel Arteta's terminology. Get on the boat, and he's been there right from the start of this Arteta era at Arsenal. And you look at the way they conduct themselves, it gives me so much hope and comfort and positivity watching just how unified as a collective they are. They're all in this. They all know that their time is going to come. With the amount of competitions we're in, the amount of football still to play, we are just slowly building to that real crunch time running from March, April, May. It's going to be on like Donkey Kong, hopefully in 4 competitions, by the way. It's going to be massive, and they all know that they're ready willing, able to step in, whatever the team needs, that they'll just put their hand up and do their job. And it's just spectacular to watch. It really is. So I much prefer to focus on that. I know there's going to be there has been a lot of media spotlight now back on this so-called title race. It's back on. I mean, you got to be honest, it was never off. I think we all know full well that you got to earn this title. It's going to go the distance. You can't win it now. It's only February. Sure, every now and then you're handed a bonus result when the opposition does you a favour, such as our friends down the road at Spurs. Last week holding City to a draw. Sure, every now and then you come across that, but you can't rely upon that. It's actually in your own hands. I mean, it's like anything worth doing in life. Anything worth doing, it comes with hard work. You just got to put your head down, roll your sleeves up, and just work damn hard and do your absolute best, and you'll ultimately be successful. So it's still very much in Arsenal's hands. It would be great if we had that 9-point lead maintained. When we played prior to City and we went ahead, of course it would be. I think we'd all be feeling a lot happier right now, so to speak, but still 6 points. And look, a full context as well. I believe that's going to be cut down to 3 because actually just before recording, I checked the schedule. City play tomorrow. They're home to Fulham. So barring some sort of unforeseen result there, I don't think Fulham are in great form of late. So there's a few ex-Arsenal lads there maybe, so perhaps they can step up and do us a favour. But I'm full well expecting it's going to be 3 points by the time we kick off away at Brentford in 2 days' time. 6 points, we just got to keep maintaining that because over the last month and a half, if you look at City's form, that's not championship winning form. They've already lost a number of games this season that they got very little margin for error, and they've only won 2 of their last 7. Meanwhile, Arsenal have been very, very consistent. It wasn't that long ago that lead was 2 points, by the way. Now it's where we've been able to capitalise and extend it to 6. And of course, I hope we keep pursuing that tally and just keep adding to it. All you can do is focus on your next game, and that's exactly what I think Arsenal are doing. Everyone who talks, everyone who speaks from the club, they know full well not to buy into the whole media distraction and all that narrative they're trying to drum up. And of course, from a broadcaster point of view, they have to drum this up as being really dramatic and have that sort of emotional energy attached to it because they're selling a product too. From an Arsenal point of view, don't worry about the noise. Just ignore that. Like, try as best you can to block that out because for us, it's just focusing on the next game, the job at hand. And that is away at Brentford against a very, very good Brentford, by the way. That's why I was saying earlier that all of a sudden this match, it's just crept up on the radar and it's just, it feels really big. They're in excellent form and look, full credit to Brentford. Some of these clubs, the way they operate, that they know full well where they are in, I guess, the overall food chain, if I can use that terminology in a football, relative to football, they know where they are. That they're going to be in that sort of mid-table section. If they scout well and if their players do well, they know at some point some of the bigger clubs are going to step in and acquire them and they just got to make sure that they get good return on those investments, good fees, and then they try and reinvest and go again. And look, from a Brentford point of view, lost their manager, lost 2 key forwards, Wissa and Buemo. They lost Norgard as well, their captain, who's come to Arsenal. And yet here they are. In fact, if I just check the table, pardon me for a moment as I look down on my screen, they're in 7th. That's really, really impressive. 7th on 39 points. Manchester United drew this morning, so they're only 6 points behind 4th. I mean, look, you have to tip your hat to that. Full credit to them. They're a very, very tricky team to play against. And Arsenal are going to have their work cut out. I think we're under no illusions. This is going to be a tough match. And in just looking at the schedule again, it seems that Arsenal or Brentford are the only match on Thursday night UK time. So all the other clubs have either been playing last night, this morning, and overnight tonight, Australian time. So it's going to have an audience too. It's going to have a big spotlight. I mean, anyone who's following the Premier League, the only match that they can switch on a Thursday evening is going to be Arsenal away at Brentford. And the context around this, people are going to be watching. So all of a sudden, it's just got that real nice build up. And I'm sure the energy, the atmosphere is going to be rocking. It's a bit reminiscent to, remember a few seasons ago when Arsenal kicked off the season away at Brentford as well. And everyone was watching that and they're all waiting for Arsenal to stumble and so they can sort of dance on our grave, so to speak. in that result, and that they got what they wanted. And we just got to make sure that they don't. We just go there and get the job done. So from a team injury point of view, so from what I understand, Saka has been effectively. I'm not sure if this directly come from us, Arteta himself, or some of the journalists who are very close to the sources. But it seems that Saka is targeting the North London derby, which is I believe it's a week and a half away now. And funnily enough, I think Arsenal play a few times since then, until then. Spurs, of course, they lost this morning. They lost at home as they quite often tend to do. I don't think they play again until the North London derby. Hopefully, Thomas Frank is in charge as well, please. We don't need another situation of the good old new manager bounce first up against Arsenal. We've suffered that enough, I think it's fair to say. But just back to my point. So Arsenal are obviously away at Brentford. Then we have Wigan in the FA Cup. And then next week, one of the matches that's been brought forward because of the Carabao Cup final, the EFL Cup final, is Wolves. The Wolves, I think that's next Thursday morning, Melbourne time. So Wednesday night, UK time. Yes, it's a pretty frenetic schedule all of a sudden. That's why I'm glad we've got this nice 5-day break to play with. So, as much as Arteta will always say the next game is the most important, of course, we all know that messaging from him. But we also got to keep in mind that in 3 days' time against Wigan, you can effectively fully rotate your 11 again as much as possible. You can make 9-10 changes to that lineup. I think the priorities absolutely are Brentford, and then Wolves next week, and then Spurs on the weekend away. So it's a tricky little period once again for Arsenal to navigate. But this is what we want. We want to be playing matches with the stakes are this high. We built the squad for it. So this is what the players have been craving for. So I can't imagine him doing anything else but as close to a full strength 11 as possible as a starting lineup away at Brentford. So we already know that Saka is effectively out for this one. Odegaard, I'm not quite sure. Sources indicate he's 50-50. If he is fit, does he come straight back into the lineup? I'm not quite sure. I mean, Arsenal keep everything under wraps, right? Keep this stuff very close to the chest. I'm sure if there's some open training or any pictures coming from the club that he won't be pictured, he won't be featured. He'll be keeping that as tight-lipped as possible. Mikel Merino, I don't think I've mentioned this yet, but he had his surgery a few days ago. I wish him the absolute best. It's such a real blow because in terms of versatility as a footballer to have in your squad, he's almost irreplaceable in that regard. You can place him in 2, 3, 4 positions and you know what you're going to get from him. So there's no other way to really dress this up. I see that as quite a considerable blow as Arsenal heading into that crunch time period, especially a very experienced footballer, very professional. He's a leader. Like it's a real blow. There's no other way to really say it. So it's also an opportunity as well. I think I said it last time as well that in the aftermath of that injury, if I'm Ebere Eze or Miles Lewis-Skelly or Christian Norgard, right, I would be knocking on Arteta's door and saying, hey, boss, I'm available. I'll put my hand up. Whatever you need me to do, how can I help? How can I contribute to the team? It's an opportunity for them in the next few months too to try and fill some of that void because there's going to be plenty of minutes to share. It's a matter of who is going to be vying for them. Trossard as well is another one that it happened very late in the match against Sunderland. I know he was subbed off. To me, watching it live, it looked like a knee injury, but afterwards I've heard it suggested that it was a calf. So there you go. I did see him in the post-match images, by the way. He was walking around the crowd, walking around with his teammates, trying to read body language. I'm not sure if that's an indicator or not, but he seemed okay. Still, though, if he's a doubt, you certainly don't want to stretch him too far thin as well. Calf injury, they can be very nagging, very niggly as well. So all of a sudden, there's a few outs, but again, we've got the squad. We've got the capacity to do it. I'm gonna have a crack at in a moment at what I think the 11 will be. So I think it's going to be Raya in goal, Timber, Saliba, Gabriel. I think Calafiori will start again. I know he was a bit rusty a few days ago against Sunderland, but look, he's just got to get that match rhythm, that match fitness back, and I think he starts again, especially with the FA Cup in a few days' time. I think that's a great opportunity that you can sit down. You can sit down Calafiori, you can sit down Timber, you can start White, you can start Hincapié. You can start Hincapié as a centre-half even, alongside Mosquera for that match. You can start Lewis-Skelly at left back. So I think it's just basically going to be as full strength as possible for this Brentford match. Rice, Zubimendi in midfield, Odegaard or /Havertz I've sort of earmarked for that that other midfield position. I think it's going to be Havertz. I'm really liking what I'm seeing so far, especially that pairing with Viktor Gyökeres. It seems that they've forged something there, and which is pretty impressive so far. They would have had very little football that they played with each other. Gyökeres had a very minimal preseason. In joining Arsenal last season, Havertz was injured on the first day. So all of a sudden, there's a relationship there that I'm really liking. And I really want to see more of as time goes on. So I think this is an excellent time, by the way, in terms of the wingers. I think it's an excellent time to start Eza on the left. Do I think it will happen? Probably no. I'd imagine Arteta is more inclined to start Martinelli there and Madueke on the right. But for me, I wouldn't mind seeing Eza now come in. We've only seen glimpses of it. Him on the left, I know there was that whole incident and against Aston Villa. He didn't track back and cost Arsenal a goal, and he's sort of been on the sideline since. I'm not saying it's directly related to that, but it can't be coincidental that Eza has just needed to really improve that defensive aspect of his game. And absolute credit to him. The minutes he's played in the last few matches, he's been running his socks off. It was really noticeable to me against Chelsea in the EFL Cup semi-final, against Sunderland as well. He's doing a lot of grunt work, a lot of running, a lot of tracking back. I think he's really honing in on that skill with the coaching staff on the training track. So I think for me, if Trossard is not fit to start, which it indicates it's seeming like, pardon me, that he's not, I would go with Eza. Maybe it's a case of Martinelli starting there and Eza coming on in the second half. I don't know. But Gyökeres would be my centre forward. I think he's looking in excellent touch, despite what a thing to have up our sleeve for him to come on running at tight defences. Right, he scored 2 goals as a super sub last week. I think he's in a rich vein of form. I think you start in this one, and Jesus is always up your sleeve to come on in the second half. And who does that leave on the right? It'll be Madueke then. So there's also the argument too that I've been liking what I'm seeing from Martinelli on the right. He gives you something different. He comes on the outside, and it's typically what we don't do on that right hand side. But look, all of a sudden, even despite the injuries, I see lots and lots of options there. I see a squad, a deep squad, high class players, high caliber of players as well. And we should have enough to go there and get the 3 points. It's not going to be easy, of course. I think we're all aware of that. But this is the different Arsenal that I'm seeing. I think we've really used that loss against United. I think we've propelled ourselves in the right way. I think we've channeled it in the right direction. And there's just a different approach that I see from Arsenal since, and even the way that the players talk, we're all aware of the spotlight, we're all aware of the pressure, and that is just going to continue to be cranked up and up as every match ticks down, heading into the final matches of the season. We all know that, but this is what they want. They relish this. This is when legacies are made. You effectively hear Declan Rice talk that way. I mean, I'm paraphrasing here, but he's basically saying that anyone who wants to write their legacy here over the next 4 months, now's a chance to do it. So I think they're embracing this in the right way. They're relishing the opportunity. And I think Arsenal are going to go there and get the job done. I absolutely do. It's not going to be easy. In terms, if you ask me a predicted scoreline, look, I would absolutely take 1-0, absolutely. But I think it's going to end up more about 2-1 or 3-1. That's my prediction. And Arsenal will hopefully come out victorious. So that match will be taking place Friday morning Australian time, and rest assured, despite the outcome, I'll be back on to talk in an instant reaction post-match podcast. So if you've liked what you've seen, please consider liking and subscribing on YouTube. That will be most appreciated, please. If you're listening on audio platforms, please follow the show. Leave me a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. That would be fantastic, please. Send me your questions. Leave me a comment. Send me your feedback. Whatever it is you're thinking or feeling. Did I get anything right or wrong? Share your thoughts. Thank you. I listen to and respond to every single word. And just thank you, everyone. And look, enjoy the ride. Enjoy the opportunity. And who knows, maybe Fulham have something up their sleeve tomorrow against Manchester City. But I'm fully expecting that Arsenal will go out there irrespective and get the job done against Brentford. So I'll talk to you all soon. Look after yourselves, check in with your loved ones, and come on, Arsenal.